Hello, my name is Donald Weaver. Today is November 6, 2021. I'd like to discuss my interpersonal communication plan. God's Word tells us in Colossians 4:6 to speak with kindness and compassion to one another and to let our words be seasoned with salt so that we should know how we need to talk to each other. The English Standard Version Bible 2001. The terms used to let our words be seasoned with salt means to let our words be tasteful so that they may bring out someone's deepest thoughts and emotions, as well as to bring restoration and healing to those that are hurting. I have learned a lot about my interpersonal communication skills throughout this course, and I've identified my weaknesses and my strengths. I want to improve on these skills so that I can strengthen my relationships both personally and professionally. Schultz Balzinski, 2015, stated the gift of communication helps to communicate with ourselves, known as interpersonal communications, the same way that we communicate with God and to our neighbors. Interpersonal communication is more than mere words. It is a complete process of exchanging information, ideas, emotion to others. Our communication skills are formed by factors such as our moral values, culture, beliefs, experiences, knowledge, or conscious and unconscious biases, as well as the environment we find ourselves. Schultz Balzinski, 2015, stated effective communication is when we combine knowledge, skill, and motivation. Knowledge is basically what we say or the words that we use. Skill is how we say it or the tone or inflections in our voice. And motivation is a combination of what we said and why we said it or our purpose or intent. In addition to these verbal communication skills, we also communicate through our nonverbal cues or our body language. We use all of our senses such as sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. I will discuss my behavioral blends identified in the Uniquely You personality assessment profile, as well as my background. I will talk about communication barriers that I have identified and share my goals and strategies to improve my weaknesses. I will talk about my plan to implement these strategies. The Uniquely You profile assessment that we took at the beginning of this course is broken down into two graphs. Graph 1 identified my personality as a D personality, which Carbonell 2021 describes as someone who is dominant, direct, demanding, and a determined individual. He also says that I am confident, stubborn, and determined, and sometimes misinterpreted as being cocky or bossy. I don't like people to take advantage of myself or others, and I have a hard time relaxing at times and resting. Graph 2 identifies my behavioral blend as a DSC, which indicates I believe people expect me to be direct or stern, competent, sensitive, and compassionate, according to Carbonell 2021. This is how I am at home with friends and family. I have been a public servant for over 33 years of my life. I am retired from the U.S. Army with 26 years of service. I currently serve as a sergeant with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol for over 17 years and have been a firefighter paramedic for 13. During my careers, I have been faced to make life-changing decisions in just milliseconds. My hesitation to act may cost the lives of those that are innocent. France and Winkle, 2019, stated that common mistakes made in communicating is often being too direct or interrupting and taking control of conversations. Dom, 2021, states clinicians make cognitive errors, contributing to diagnostic errors in over 75% of their cases. These cognitive errors consist of cognitive biases such as systematic, unconscious, automatic thought patterns that affect rational thoughts and judgment. I've learned a lot by listening through Peterson 2015. He talked about the flat brain theory, flat brain syndrome, and flat brain tango. He discussed that our feelings are generated in our stomach and stored there, and when we fail to vent to others, it will become bloated, putting pressure on our hearts. Our hearts is where our deepest desires are stored, our innermost beliefs, and our brain is simply the logistical pathway and center to think rationally about making decisions. Peterson 2015 stated that if we fail to vent our feelings, it will then cause our hearts to have pressure and we'll become cold-hearted. It will then put pressure in our heads where our brains will become flat and our rational thinking stops. It will then put pressure on our ears and our eyes so that we can't see things clearly, nor can we hear the truth when spoken. He discussed our roles as a listener and talker. Listeners must remain calm and emotionally neutral. Their goal is to simply bring safety, understanding, and only speak to gain clarity of the situation. As a listener, we have to refrain from agreeing or disagreeing, advising or defending to the talker. As a talker, we must remember we own the issue. It is our concerns and our thoughts. The goal of the talker is to share our deepest thoughts and feelings with others while refraining from being accusatory, attacking, labeling, or judging. Peterson 2015. My goals and strategies are to bring more self-control to myself and learn to listen more and be empathetic. I must leave work at work and learn to relax more and have fun while at home with family and friends. To do this, my wife and sons are helping me to do just that. They tell me all the time that I'm no longer at work, that I can relax and laugh a little. I also continue to study God's Word. His Word says in Psalms 119:105 that God's Word will be a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. In other words, I will let God's Word guide my steps each day and the direction that I follow. ESV 2001. During my communications, I want to be understanding, respectful, caring, and honest. I can do this by improving on 3 interpersonal skills as discussed by France and Winkle 2020. They are empathy, warmth, and genuineness. Empathy is simply understanding someone else's point of view. Warmth is when we acknowledge a person's right to make choices for themselves. And genuineness is simply saying what we mean. In conclusion, I acknowledge that while I am a good listener and a good communicator, there are many areas that I can improve on. These areas are communication with others by taking time to listen and to be more empathetic. With the Lord's love, grace, and compassion, He will guide me in this development to make me a stronger and more competent counselor. I will end with the Serenity Prayer by Rehon Newbern. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Frank 2020. Thank you and have a great day.